Hello everyone and welcome to the February Q&A video. For those who are not aware, every month we do a Q&A video here on StephenVlog. Basically we look at the comments from last month's Q&A video and we pick out a few, and we always do the top comments, and then we answer them next month, which is this month. So we took the comments from January, and now this is the end of February that we're answering them. It's not that difficult. Okay, anyway. We're going to start with the top comments because we always start with the top ones. The first one is from Mr. Bopper96, who wants to know our favorite Zelda game. Mal?
I've only played 2.
You played Twilight Princess and what else?
Phantom Hourglass.
Phantom Hourglass.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
I really liked it though, compared to like all video games I've played.
I've played Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening, Link to the Past. I own all of these actually. Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening, Links to the Past, Link to the Past.
Ocarina.
Ocarina of Time. I thought you said Macarena. Hey, Navi the Fairy. Hey. What's the other ones? I have all of them. Seriously, I have all of them.
Link's on a Train.
I don't have the train one. I don't have the train one in the newest ones.
Wind Waker.
I have Wind Waker. I don't have Oracle of Seasons or Ages.
We don't have Skyward Sword.
It's actually completely irrelevant. I have all of those, but my favorite one by far is probably, I say by far, it's probably a tie between Link's Awakening, A Link to the Past, probably those two. Oh, Ocarina of Time is close. I liked Ocarina of Time, but I mean, I also haven't finished a whole lot of the games, so maybe that's playing into it. Four Swords is fun. Okay, the next highest rated comment was from Shay Guitar 101, who said, "Would you consider doing memorable moments on Ninten Plays Minecraft?" No, I mean, not really. What I would consider doing is maybe when it's done, or maybe when we hit like a milestone, like 100 episodes or something, then doing like a compilation video of like favorite moments or something. I would probably do that, but I don't know if I would do memorable moments. Part of the reason is I don't have time. I mean, Ninten barely goes up. Ninten is done. Like, episodes are done. They just haven't been exported and put online. That's bad. I mean, that's kind of a testament of how backed up I get sometimes, which is not good. Now we're going to move on to the other questions. Before we get started on these questions, I wanted to give you guys
question tips.
Some question tips. Some examples of very bad questions. Very bad questions include, are you going to LP insert game here? We get like 50 comments for different games every single Q&A. That's not a good example of a question. The reason it's not is because we're only choosing like 15 questions to answer. I mean, we don't want to choose 15 questions that are all, will you LP this game? Will you LP this game? With us, it's not really a secret what we're going to do. We have like almost the entire year of 2012 laid out.
You have a schedule. You have upcoming ones posted. You have a list of ones you are going to do at some point. I mean,
if you were talking to someone like Chuggaa, who, you know, keeps his stuff secret and doesn't want you to know, that would be different. But with us, we're telling you what's coming out. And even if even if it's not on there, at earliest it would be coming out in like 2013. So you shouldn't even worry about it. So that's a bad example of a question. It's not that we would never answer that again, but it's not likely to be answered. Another one that's not very good is, have you ever met insert YouTuber here? Or
do you watch insert YouTuber?
Or yeah, or do you watch insert YouTuber here? For the most part, just assume that I don't watch YouTube. I'm too busy making videos to watch videos for the most point. I don't watch very much stuff. I don't even watch television. I barely watch Netflix, and I'm paying for that. YouTube's free. So those are some examples of bad questions. It's not that they always have to be bad, but they're generally bad. Also, we try not to answer questions we've already answered in past Q&As. You don't have to watch every Q&A to understand if we've asked a question or not, because I post the questions in the video description. You can click on the link, go to the video description, and see if your question is there, because it could be.
Or the question you are wondering about.
Yeah, I mean, we've answered a lot of stuff, and you don't have to watch 20-minute videos or the one from August, which is like 90 minutes. You don't have to do that to actually get all the information. You can just go to a video, or look at the video description, and learn a lot. So, anyway.
On to questions.
Let's do the questions now that we've wasted some time. clanceinyourpants says, how many copies of Earthbound do you currently own? 3. I got the one from when I was a kid. I picked up one for $5 at a Rose's.
Rose's is like a Big Lots.
Yeah, but they sold old games at one point. And then I got another copy for $50 at a store in Wilmington, North Carolina. And those last 2 were still several years ago. Now the cart is going for anywhere from like $90 to $150 cart alone, which is ridiculous. I've always had a philosophy that if I can find a cart for $50 or less, I'll buy it. And that hasn't really changed, but the price has gone up. It used to be $50 was, you know, a fair deal, and now $50 is a steal, so I don't know if I'll ever buy them again. Anyway, Smurfinyoursmurf. clanceinyourpants, then Smurfinyoursmurf. Whatever happened to the wiki? For those who aren't aware, there's a thing called StephenWiki. In fact, it's probably in the video description. I think they're still posted in all of the videos, at least on the vlog side. I'm just too busy, you know. It's something that I kind of gave the information to everyone, was like, hey, you guys can carry this as far as you want to go, and progress was crazy at the beginning, and then it slowed down, which is understandable. I don't expect you guys to be wiki slaves. I think the first 50 days were done almost like that, like within like 2 or 3 days, 50 days were done, which was awesome. The problem is, if you're not doing at least, you know, 2 days a day, you'll never gain progress, because there's a new video coming out every day on StephenVlog. So I think that's discouraging, because, you know, people put in a lot of hard work to get those days done, and then they're like, oh my god, since I've been working on these, there's 15 new days up. So if you have interest in working on the wiki, go in the video description below, and I think there's a video on there that shows you how to edit it and what to do, what the format's supposed to look like, and feel free to work on it. There's even LP stuff on the wiki you can do, but I don't have time personally to work on it. I would like to, but I just don't have time. Let's see. Joey the Kid 101 says, Mallory tends to always do LPs of games with you, and this year she will be doing many co-op games with you. Has she ever found it tiring, or just wouldn't want to record with you?
I've found it tiring. In fact, right now it's getting late, and I have to be up at 6 to teach tomorrow. So that's why I keep yawning. I mean, I'm not going to record, but I get tired.
I mean,
I work 2 jobs basically.
This isn't a job. Oh, I mean, it's my job. She gets roped into it, I guess. I think the thing is, you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I don't enjoy filming Daily Pack for you.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't like doing it.
Because I have to sit there and focus the camera ring.
It's a lot of, I mean, I showed you guys in a video how much work it is for me editing. It's a lot of work for us to do a production of Daily Pack, which is why I'll tell you right now, Daily Pack will not be around forever. In fact, as soon as I can get them all done, I'm thinking heavily about either changing the format of Daily Pack so it's not the way we're doing it now, or killing it. The format change wouldn't be so bad either, though. I'm thinking about maybe just having us still accepting packs, but like doing Winston drafting with them. Like wait till we get 6 and then doing a Winston draft. I don't know. It's just right now it's too much work, and you know it's too much work because Daily Pack and Ninten are coming out every day. I don't have time, you know. So that'll die off soon. In fact, if you've been thinking about sending in a pack, don't. Just keep it. Just keep it. And if you just sent one out yesterday or something, you don't feel bad. It'll go up.
We still have a few to record.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny anyone of, you know, the advertising space they get through Daily Pack. I'm just saying that if you were thinking about using it, don't. Did we answer the question? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you like recording. It's just the bad thing about doing co-op games is you have to remember that both of us have to be ready to do it, you know? Because if I want to record, then I
have to be home.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. She's got to be home.
I get homework for school.
And sometimes she gets home, she's had a hard day, she's tired, whereas I can record shortly after I get up. You know, I might get up, make some eggs, I'm feeling pumped, full of protein, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And there's a lot of factors that go into making sure she can record, so she likes it, but it is tiring. zainyman asked, do you have a collection of some sort? Comic books, DVDs, etc. And if so, would you do a video of your collection? Do you have a collection?
I used to collect, like, masks, ceramics masks.
Which is...
like Mardi Gras masks, but clay.
Which is different. How many did you have at your apex?
80. They were at my dad's house. I had them all up on the wall.
Really? Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember this vaguely, but I thought I saw like 7.
That's because I kept 7 I liked the best.
Oh, okay. For me, I used to collect Thai Beanie Babies, but who didn't? The difference is I didn't get rid of them. They're all in the curio cabinet at home. There's probably like 50 of those. More recently, I have been collecting, I guess since I was a kid, and still are collecting video games, particularly Super Nintendo games. I actually have an app on the iPod that has a list of like all the Super Nintendo games, and you check them off as you get them. And I think I have like 80 or so. And that's probably most of what I collect. I also do Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, PlayStation, but I mostly focus on the greatest system of all time, Super Nintendo.
The other ones you get are like rare, good games. Like, what
Yeah.
was the Final Fantasy one you tried to get the other day? That was...
Final Fantasy 7.
That was 7.
Yeah. I mean, I will buy games sometimes if I can find good deals cheap, so if I can resell them.
Like at the flea market.
But I mean, even that doesn't happen all the time. GameSing 2000 says, will you hopefully go to PAX Prime with Chuggaa or some other friends? And if you go to PAX, where will you think you will stay the most so people can meet you there? This was asked before the PAX Prime thing came out. We are going to PAX Prime in September. We will be there. And that's so stupid. And as far as us meeting people, we're very willing to meet people. Mm-hmm. We will definitely be meeting you guys. And probably what we'll do is I'll just make sure that you guys are following me on Twitter, and I will be updating Twitter. It's funny because we don't have smartphones, neither of us. We don't have any web access. So I actually do the Twitter where you send a text message to Twitter and it goes on your Twitter page. I'll probably do that. And I'll say like where we are and wait around for a bit and so we can meet you guys. But if nothing else, you'll probably see us because I'm 6.5 feet tall.
If not, check the Fangamer booth because they'll know where we are. Yeah.
So, if I'm fairly certain that if you want to meet us at PAX Prime, you'll have an opportunity to. That's what I think. Smurfinyoursmurf has another question here.
Oh.
What advice do you have for a freshman graphic design major?
Graphic design, it's important to do many versions. You think you have the greatest thing ever, no matter what, the professor's going to be like, change it, change it, change it, change it. Change the font, change the colors, change something. You need about 80 versions sometimes. That's what I had to do. When we made logos, it was like, you need to have 10 versions of this, no matter how good you think it is.
I mean, I'm a big graphic design enthusiast, and if I would have had more time in school, I would have tried to have gotten a minor in graphic design.
You thought about switching your major at one point.
Or double majoring, or switching to graphic design. I'm design oriented. I like that stuff, and I think I'm good at it. I am good at it. Doggone it. But I also learned a lot from going to art school, taking classes that were related to it, and also being around friends who that was their major. I mean, I roomed with Ian in freshman year, and also he was good friends with us for our entirety while we were there, and he was graphic design. So, yeah.
I thought he was studio for some reason.
He was graphic design. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot of important stuff just with composition and stuff. I would say what she said, definitely work on stuff, because when you think you have something good, you probably don't, or it can be better. At the same time, while a bunch of revisions are important, don't overwork it, which now it's kind of contradictory statements. But basically, when you're done making 20, 30 revisions, don't be afraid to, instead of, because, okay, I'm going to do a diagram with my hands. Normally what happens, is that you'll start with something and then it's like you come here and then you go here and then you go here and you go here and you're branching off. Instead, think about coming back to the start and branching off from there, so you have different designs that way.
Yes.
Basically, return to the start, because you can overwork that sucker, and then you got like the lens flare and the gradient and all this garbage. And in design, period, simple is better. I mean, the best logos are just, you know, a solid color, one font, and it's done. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. Chizorg says, Mal, what age group do you prefer to teach?
I'm currently teaching preschool, which is 4-year-old kindergarten, to 5th grade. And that's not really my strong point. I mean, my children, some of them are very, very sweet. All my pre-K kids have to give me a hug on the way out of my room, like all of them. One of them doesn't, and then they're all like, woo! And they only reach like my hip, so they're like, you know, real short. But that's the good part about my job currently. It's really great when my kids are sweet and they really enjoy what they're doing in my class. But I really miss my high schoolers, and
because they're competent.
Yeah, they can do art. I can be like, all right, I want you to do something based on yourself as a child, or like how you want to be in the future.
You can give them
abstract thoughts,
complex assignments that aren't, let's paint this pot a single color.
Let's paint this. Let's draw a fish. Fish are circles with triangle tails. Like.
Yeah, basically, it's one of those things where it kind of feels like she's dumbing herself down for the kids, because if you were able to talk to high schoolers, you could talk to them at your own level, and
yes.
That's what you miss.
And my focus in art is graphic design, photography, ceramics.
And none of that stuff you can do with kids.
No, I'm trying to do coil pots with my 5th graders right now, and some of them have just pounded flat pancakes instead.
You like that face? I'm never doing it again. Chizorg also asked me, says, Stephen, what kinds of film do you prefer to shoot /direct/edit? It's funny because that almost is like I actually do that again. I really liked making documentaries. I thought that was fun. I had to do a few documentary projects when I was at SCAD, and I enjoyed that. And I don't know. I like watching them more than making them, I think. I also enjoyed
music videos?
Yeah, a lot. I worked on a few music videos, and they were great. They were so much fun. I really, really enjoyed working on music videos. They're just really fun to edit. Normally you have a lot more creative control.
You don't have to worry about sound.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing in the world. I don't know what it is about student projects, but so many student projects, like, they get out there, they get excited, the composition is good, it's great, and then they give it to me, and I'm like, what the crap were you thinking? Did you have a microphone? Like, what were you doing? Like, and I mean, I've made the same mistake, absolutely, because you do get so enveloped into what the visuals look like that the audio sounds like, you know, you shoved a tin can into a toaster and then put it in the garbage disposal and peed on it or something. I mean, seriously, it's that bad. It's so terrible.
That answers the question.
I'm totally diverting from the question, but if you're doing any kinds of short films, especially for YouTube, pay attention to your audio. If you can invest in a boom mic, do it. They're not that expensive.
You have a Rode.
I have the Rode video mic. It was like $100 to $150, and it came with a boom. Like I mean, I know that for some of you that might be kind of expensive, but you have to understand, in the world of audio hardware, that's really inexpensive, and you can use it for the rest of your life. And it's good. Sayatheblakat says, does Mallory have any advice on art in college? We kind of gave some of that, but you can offer some more.
Art in college specifically. College, do everything early. Financial aid is the biggest thing you need to do as soon as possible. As soon as you have your W-2s and all your tax stuff, do financial aid.
Scholarships. Just throwing that in there. A lot of colleges offer scholarships. Apply for them early, because you can...
They don't hold money, even financial aid. They don't hold it and be like, well, someone might apply that really, really needs it later. No, they give it out and then it's gone.
They give it out and it's gone.
So
apply and get
both of us have loans for college, and we could have gotten less.
I mean, I got $50,000 of scholarship money, and I still have six-figure debt. That's insane. SCAD. Also, I think it's funny how she asked you and not me.
That's because I went to real college and not art college where you got a bathroom in your own room.
No, it's because she's been watching for a long time, and she's been watching since we were in college, and she knows that I just goofed off and played video games.
I was a real student. As for art, I mean, I was art ed, so I was in studio level classes with people who are going to be painters and sculptors and graphic design majors. And I'm an art ed major, and they were like, "Oh, you're not as good as us." Turning up their nose and being like, "Your photography."
I'm sorry. How is this related to the question?
So
now you're just.
Yes, I'm getting there. Now you're the one who's talking about, I don't know, whatever.
Relevant information.
Back to what I was saying.
Go ahead. I won't stop you.
In art classes, you can be just as good as them, no matter if you're in art majors or not. You just have to work. And then make up a great statement about how it's about the war.
DublinSeafoodInc asks, can you name some of the most underrated games in your guys' opinions?
Okage.
There's this game that no one's ever heard of called Shadow of the Colossus. And I'm going to be doing an LP. I run an LP channel called Stephen Plays. No, in all seriousness, Shadow of the Colossus is a good game. And you guys, if you haven't checked it out, check out the LP. I've been editing them and they're coming along quite nicely. Other underrated games.
Let's look at our list.
Honestly, that's what I do. Is I just look up and I'm like, oh no, I better look. Halo 3?
Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, Mirror's Edge. I think we've been asked, maybe not this exact question before, but you know, some derivative of it. And instead of trying to give you guys a list where I just sit here and think really hard and they don't ever come to me, I'll tell you Mirror's Edge, because Mirror's Edge is quite honestly a game I'll probably LP in the future. I don't know when. It's a fantastic game. It can make you very sick.
Yeah, that's why I stopped playing.
But it's I was okay with it. She wasn't okay with it. But it's a game that's relatively cheap, that you can get fairly inexpensive at a store now, at like GameStop. So if you have a chance, pick it up. Seriously, it's a good game. And if you do PC gaming, I think it was on Steam the other day for $5. So it goes on sale regularly.
Okage is just unique. I mean, you're a boy who's overshadowed by his own shadow, and you lose yourself and become invisible, and you have to find yourself. It's different. There's evil shadow kings, and you go and destroy the fake evil shadow kings.
So it's Eco.
No.
Not that I know. I've never played Eco. It's on my to-do list. What's next?
Northernspiral says, what was your editing skill when you went to college, Stephen?
High. In my mind. The truth of the matter is, I learned a lot at SCAD, definitely. I didn't learn how do I do this? Didn't learn the technical side of editing at SCAD. I learned that on my own. I learned it on my own while I was at SCAD, but I learned more editing theory, and that's something that you have to get at school. You really, that's not, there are people out there, God bless them, that think that editing has something to do with how many titles and effects you can do, how many graphics you can have move around. I mean, and I'm scared. I have so many names popping in my head of YouTube people that do this, but I won't name names. But there's a lot of people who think that's editing. That's not editing at all. I mean, you're using an editor to do some things, but editing is supposed to be a transparent thing where it's just
you don't notice the cuts.
You don't notice anything. I mean, you can do special effects stuff like that, but if you do that, I wouldn't call yourself an editor, because it's not really what you're doing. Where was I going with this? My editing level. Yeah, it was good. But while I was at SCAD, I definitely improved, but most of it was of my own doing as far as the technical side. I'll tell you right now, this goes for editing or any program that you use, any computer program. You are not any good, sorry, at what you do unless you use keyboard shortcuts. I swear, man, there's too many times that I have been in classes at SCAD, you know, and have talked, or you know, you get into a class, especially people who've been to college, where there's that one guy that's like, man, I'll tell you, I do all this stuff. It's like the big douchebag, and you watch as he moves his mouse from one thing to another, and you're like, oh my
like
god.
Copy paste.
Well, I mean, not even that, because that's the one everyone knows. Like, I know keyboard shortcuts, Command C, dude. But then whenever he wants the brush tool, he has to go and remember where the brush tool was. Was it on top of the bottom? Well, you just press the B button, dude. Okay. So that's a big thing for me. And the thing is, I'm still learning. Or rather, I'm trying to convince myself to do things, because I know keyboard shortcuts that I don't use, and I know that they're better for me. But some of them are insane, man. Some of them are like, you know, Command Tab FN and then 1, 2 or whatever. Okay. There's basically, and I'll stop rambling, but I want you guys to understand the importance, whether you're doing editing or whether you're doing Photoshop or anything. Train yourself to use keyboard shortcuts. Many times, especially like in Photoshop, if you hover over the button, it'll tell you right there what to hit. And force yourself to learn keyboard shortcuts, because you will increase productivity. It'll blow your mind. It also helps if you get a mouse that has like multiple buttons, because that's equally awesome. Because when I'm editing now, I'm just like, I mean, normally you have to be like, nope, I'm just.
Next
I also turned into an Indian man.
Next
That's
question.
Not even, is that just a stereotype thing? Like, because why do I associate
when you do
that?
this, someone playing like a lap stringed instrument.
Why do I think of an Indian person when I think of that noise? Like,
I don't know, but we're going on.
I don't know. I'm not trying to be politically incorrect.
We're moving on. Just a Nintendo fan. What is your favorite restaurant / food place and food? Favorite food is. I like sushi. I mean, it doesn't feel filling when you eat it, and it's good.
Honestly, like, I'm tempted to say that because it's something I don't get very often, but I realized what my favorite food is, and it occurred to me. This is actually something I thought about very recently.
Tacos.
It's bacon. There is not a food on this planet that tastes better than bacon.
My favorite restaurant is Acoustic Cafe because they have the best sub sandwiches. Steven disagrees with me. There's probably only 4, and they're like around Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Winona, Menominee.
Acoustic Cafe is popular because hippies and indie music lovers
It was good.
hang out
It's on
there
the vlog.
and talk about how good it is. It's not that good. It's really not that good.
I disagree.
We've been there on the vlog. Search for Acoustic Cafe on StephenVlog search thing. It's just not that special. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, last 3.
I never even got to say what my favorite place is, but I don't have one, so keep going.
Who's the better artist by ArbicNights?
Mao.
Yeah.
I mean,
Steven's drawn. He's taken drawing classes. More than I have, because I never took life drawing. But on top of drawing, I took painting, metals, printmaking, serigraphy, photography, ceramics. I'm going in my head in the art building of my college and like, okay, there was metals, then there was the ceramics room, then there was graphic design.
I mean, she can do traditional art way better than I can. I feel like I have a leg up on you when it comes to design.
Yeah, all my design stuff Steven looked at before I submitted.
Yeah, I feel like I'm better at design, and I feel like I'm probably...
You have a better eye for it, but I can work circles around him in Illustrator.
I can't figure that program out. Doggone it. I've sat down so many times, and there's been times in the past where I've known how to use it, and then when I come back, I'm like, how I do? So,
like, for example, he needed the t-shirt icon for the title bar on your channel.
I'm serious, man.
And Steven looked like it was like a very, very large person's shirt that had been stretched out. And so he sent it to me. He's like, you need to fix this.
When I need vector graphics, I seriously do them in Photoshop with the pen tool and blow them up. Because I've done it in Illustrator, but it's just confusing, and I don't like. I'm a crabby old man, and I haven't learned. There was something else to that.
No, that was it.
Oh, see? But I was gonna say something. Oh, as far as like, I also feel like we're not completely on equal playing fields, but probably pretty close when it comes to photography. And not from a technical point of view. You understand stuff about photography I'll never understand about because I don't care. But from like a composition point of view,
yeah, composition.
I feel like I've learned so much from SCAD because we just had to take so many stinking classes that I probably if we had to like both of us shoot a wedding or something like as photographers,
They'd be equal.
I have a feeling it'd be about the same.
Mine would have better exposure and metering and aperture and depth of field.
I don't understand a lot about that stuff because I didn't take the cinematography classes. I was more interested in editing. But anyway.
We have 2 more questions.
Go
both
for
of which
it.
are long, and our battery is dying.
Our battery's going, oh, we're gonna die! We're gonna die!
Beautifully Chaos has 4 questions for me.
Oh boy.
Why did you decide to become an art instructor to young children? Well, my degree is K-12, and I am taught and certified to teach K-12, and I got a job elementary, but like I said earlier, I'd prefer high school. Maybe someday I'll get a high school position.
Position?
Was art something you've always had a passion for, or were you inspired by someone? I never took art until college. I had taken photography, but at my high school it was considered technology education, which was like the shop part of high school. It was in that area of school. And I enjoyed photography a lot. My dad did a lot of photography, and went to college, convinced the photography professor at college that as a freshman with no art major, I should be accepted into sophomore level photography class, and he let me. And then I moved up and took junior level photography as a freshman, and then senior level photography as a sophomore. And he was really great. He was, I wanted to teach photography when I was in his class. He was great. He was the reason I wanted to be a teacher. His name is Guillermo. He was from Chile. He had the best stories about spearfishing off the coast of Chile when he was a little boy and getting stuck under the water. Anyway, 3. Would you say having an occupation in the arts field is practical?
Did you answer 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not looking at the thing, so I'm just, okay.
Occupation in the arts field is practical employment-wise. It depends. If you are trying to make it as a studio artist, it is very difficult. You have to be personable. I know artists are like the closet people who sit and they just do their art all day. But if you are trying to make it as an artist, you have to put yourself out there and be
social marketing.
Be ready for rejections from
everyone.
Gallery directors, museum people, whatever. It is hard to make it as an actual artist. Graphic designers make lots of money depending on where you're working. And that's practical in my mind.
It's more practical, but it's hard to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Being an artist in general, whether you're a real artist, which was impossible to get into the art field, or whether you're, a digital artist doing either what I do or
illustrations or
graphic design or whatever. I mean, all of that stuff it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to get a job.
But I like teaching because I can do art too. I still do art at home. I'll paint every once in a while. I did a charcoal drawing the other day to show one of my students that I could actually draw, because he's a 5th grader and draws better than me. And it's really great as a teacher when students get what you're talking about.
You're peeling off the back.
It's already peeled off.
I know, but you're making it worse.
Anyway, part 4. I'm conflicted over my college major. I'm currently broadcast journalism, but I'm debating whether to switch to a BFA graphic design. It's practical versus passion help.
Journalism versus graphic design.
Mm-hmm. I don't know a thing about journalism.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about journalism to tell you if you're more likely to get a job in journalism than graphic design. I would assume you would be, I guess. Maybe.
There's a lot to graphic design too. It's not just logos and t-shirts and there's packaging design.
Here's my advice. And this advice is is pretty solid. I would say probably stick with journalism. And because in my mind, and I could be completely wrong, which is likely, but I don't know how journalism works, but it seems that with journalism, they would be more likely to look at a degree. With graphic design and other art-related stuff, people do not give 2 craps whether you have a degree or not, usually. That's not the case in every scenario, obviously, but people are more interested in seeing a portfolio. Mm-hmm. So you could, in essence, continue on with journalism, get your degree in journalism, and still pursue graphic design, but you would have a degree in journalism. Whereas a degree in graphic design doesn't necessarily get you anything. I mean, you need a strong portfolio. I'm sure you need a strong portfolio with journalism as well, but in my mind, maybe I'm biased because I'm an artist, it seems like it would be more beneficial to stay on the path with journalism and do graphic design artwork and get a portfolio that way.
You can always take like the basic art intro classes that are design related that teach you about composition and
that would be a good thing. Yeah, you want a foundation, because a lot of times people think they're, I'm not saying this about the person that asked the question, but a lot of times people think that they're something, especially graphic design. Oh my god, a lot of times people think they're graphic designers and they're not. And just like fundamental stuff, just basic stuff, if you take those classes, will help you immensely. I mean, even for me, I thought I knew so much about video, and in my first video classes, I was like, oh my god, what? Really? And I realized I was a fool. So yeah, that's solid advice though, because graphic design and other art related stuff is more so you want to have a portfolio than a degree. I'm not saying the people out there, I don't want to give advice where I'm like, don't go to college, you don't need that degree. It's a good thing to have, but given those two options, I think journalism is probably your better bet, maybe.
Last question.
Yeah.
Supersonic Rules 101.
Supersonic Rules?
I wasn't quite reading that very good. Stephen, when you began Stephen Plays not long ago in 2011, what was your first impressions about doing Let's Plays up to now? And did you also have first impressions when you began StephenVlog back in 2009? Was it hard to do these wonderful things since you began any of these channels?
Okay, give me this. One question at a time would have been great. When you began Stephen Plays not too long ago in 2011, what were your first impressions about doing Let's Plays up to now? Very little. I had watched... It's funny, because really I had not watched Let's Plays at all. I mean, see, I'm being completely serious.
You went into Ninten voice there.
I'm being very serious. When I started doing Let's Plays, I had watched... I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'd ever watched one. Watched one completely through. I'm not talking about series, I'm talking about an episode. I'm serious. I don't think I think at this point I've probably watched... I've watched other people's complete Let's Plays at this point. Episodes, never series. I've never watched a complete series. In my mind, it's been one of those things that I've never really wanted to be influenced by other people. I've watched some vloggers and I hate what they're doing, and I'm just like, screw it, I won't watch them. And it kind of goes the same for Let's Plays. It's not that I hate what they're doing. I've watched tidbits of what people do, but I just don't, I don't want to be influenced by them. I want to do my own thing, so I don't watch them. And the only reason I watch them now is every once in a while I kind of make my rounds and see what games people are doing, just how audience is interacting with it, just kind of see what they're up to. But even now I don't watch Let's Plays, and back then I didn't watch Let's Plays, which might be kind of weird for some people, but it's actually not that weird. And did you also have first impressions when you began StephenVlog back in 2009? I mean, I think I had seen maybe one episode of CMF, what is it called? CMFXC? FMXC? You guys can now tell how little I actually know about all this stuff. I'd watched one and I was really impressed with it. It was one of those things where I was not going to subscribe and watch it all the time, but I was like, that's a cool idea. Following your life and doing it literally everywhere you go with a pocket camera. And
here we are.
Yeah, here we are, 800 days later. Was it hard to do these wonderful things since you began these channels? Wonderful things? Well, that's sweet. Wonderful things. These are wonderful things. It's been hard work. I'm putting usually between 40 and 60 hours a week of work into YouTube, so it is definitely my full-time job. It's hard. It's really hard. Anyone who wants to start doing Let's Plays and stuff, or worse, anyone who wants to do YouTube full-time, reconsider heavily. It's not something you can even jump into full-time. It's something that you just have to work towards while doing something else, and then if it gets to that point, then you'll be like, cool, now I can switch over and do this full-time, because it's hard. It's been a long journey for us.
I get home and Stephen's still working.
Yeah, it hasn't put a stress on our relationship, because when she gets home and I'm still working, she's also going to do stuff on the computer too, and when she's done, I'm done, and I don't work on the weekends anymore. I might record something, but I won't edit or do anything. I really try to make the weekends as sacred as possible for us so we have time to do stuff. But it's hard work. It's one of the many reasons I want to shoot Daily Pack in the head, to be honest. Because that stuff looms over my head, and it's just, I can't handle that. Mallory's, you got some last minute questions here. Did you have any inspiration for becoming an art teacher when you were little? You kind of answered that already.
Yeah, I thought I'd expand upon that a little bit.
Sure.
Read the other half.
I mean, did you have inspiration for being an artist at all?
I always liked art in elementary school. I mean, I wasn't awful. I was never a great drawer. Drawer. And I was never the art person in high school. And my friends who went to high school with me can agree with that because they were all the art people who would draw really good and paint really good and were in the art classes. And now I'm the art person. I'm not saying like with them. They still do good work. But I have people like at school, other teachers who are coming to me and be like, can you draw me a bus? And I'm thinking, no, because I forget what certain parts of buses look like because I'm not good at drawing. And I'm still not fantastic. I can draw. But I'm like, okay. And the bus will be like really awful. Can you, someone came to me the other day, like, can you make a giant airplane out of cardboard for me? I was like, no.
They assume since you're the art person, you can do anything.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm photography, graphic design, and ceramics.
Yeah, basically all the stuff that they're not doing at the school, but she's licensed and able to teach elementary art, but that doesn't mean she's a miracle worker. They're not going to come to you with pipe cleaners and be like, can you make the Eiffel Tower?
They could.
They probably will next week. They'll watch this video and get the idea, like, oh, that would look good in the classroom. That would
We're going to
look
learn about
good.
France next week.
That would look excellent. That's what they'll say.
You're starting to sound like Jim Gaffigan.
Gosh, he's funny. He's a funny guy. I like Jim Gaffigan. I almost like him as much as Mitch Hedberg. I still like Mitch Hedberg. Hedberg more. But both of them are funny because this is not even a question. Both of them are funny because of the way they talk, of the way they respond. I mean, Mitch is funny because he's just like all over. He's like, well, you know.
The pandas is a cute.
Yeah, like the stuff that comes out of his mouth is ridiculous. And Jim Gaffigan is funny because of the same thing, but it's different. He's like,